already know, we talk about anything that has to do with the self-love journey, the healing journey. And what is coming up for us is about momentum without pressure. And we're going to talk about everything that's attached to that, because we were just talking about this before getting on. When you think of momentum, right? Like, what comes to your mind? What does that look like when someone's having momentum? Just a little like high energy and you're like boom, 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 boom. So we would like to talk about this idea of still being able to experience momentum, but without the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Think about the times where you felt momentum and just like the before, middle, and end. Did that momentum last? Did it die off? Did you feel stressed because you felt like you had to like upkeep, and then when something went wrong, you totally felt bad about that? And it's interesting because with life, things outside of us happen and affects us. It affects our momentum, and then we feel bad about that. Like, for an example, let's just say I can't even remember like where I was before grieving. Oh yeah, there was already a lot of stuff going on. Before that, let's just say I was on a momentum, and then there was things that's happening with my family, and then like my dog passing. And what I am really appreciating right now is how it did slow me down. And also I'm able to move on, continuing my journey, picking things back up, but with a completely different energy.
Yeah.
Like, I can feel the momentum that is coming just from the time that's been opening up for me, but I'm not rushing into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching myself when I go on social media of not catching myself when I do feel like I need to like rush and like this pressure to like come out and be so loud about my coaching and about my value, about my journey. So I'm appreciating that because I feel at ease. I feel at ease. And if I don't, I know what I need to do. But I feel like I need to hold on to this type of way of building momentum for my sanity.
Yes.
Yeah, like it feels healthy because there's just so much mindfulness behind it. And okay, it is a thing. I mean, it's no surprise that you feel the same way because we're both on our own self-love journey. And we both experienced something happening where we needed to slow down anyway, as well, at the same time, it's literally the same week. So Hallie, what are your thoughts with this idea of experiencing momentum without pressure? Like, how is that happening for you in your life right now?
So I feel like momentum is a wonderful phenomenon that we get to experience. And oftentimes in order to activate momentum, right, is like momentum is where you're moving from a stagnancy, from something not really happening to something happening, and then it creating its own kind of like it has its own energy where it's starting to have, it's just like easy. Momentum has an ease to it, right? Where you're in a flow and things are moving in a direction, and it's like,
Sorry.
No problem. It's not as hard as it is to start, right? Starting can be like the hardest part of activating a momentum. And so momentum feels really good when you're in it in a genuine way, but nothing can kill momentum faster than when you start to feel pressure to like maintain a momentum or to push the momentum or to rush the momentum. When we project this idea of like speed onto just the very natural flow of the way that something is moving, because it's moving at its own pace. It's like our work has its own momentum, you know, my other projects have their own momentum. But then if I'm coming in with a story of like how much needs to be getting done and how fast something needs to be getting done, then something that's part of my joy, part of my light, becomes a burden, right? It becomes like the resistance gets created in that relationship. And then we can like be like, well, now I don't want to do it because I feel so much pressure and so much stress. And then we can create stagnation, right?
Yeah.
And then the pause again, and then it can be hard to get started. I think this happens with exercise a lot, right? it can be so hard to start your journey with that. And then you get committed and you keep showing up and you get in a momentum with it, right?
Yeah.
And then the pressure of like, I must, you know? And then something happens in your life that interrupts your daily workouts or whatever. And then because the pressure was so immense, it can be really hard to pick it back up. But if you remove the pressure and just allow things to have their natural flow of momentum, it's a lot easier to be like, okay, I had to take a pause for a couple of weeks because this or that happened, but pressure free, like, let me start back up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like something that's really conditioned, we were just talking about the conditioning of speed, right? We all know that we have this mass conditioning in our culture to do things like fast, right?
And like be the best, or and like I just feel the status that's attached to that, you know, like the momentum and being on top and being the best, having the status of like that person. And again, that's more pressure. So it's really paying attention, like where is the pressure coming from? Why do you have that pressure? And is this beneficial to your momentum or not?
Exactly. And if you're bombarded with this idea of who you think you need to be and how much momentum and how much you think that you need to be doing, right? That takes away from your life force. It also takes away from your presence, right? And when your presence is compromised, your relationships are compromised.
Totally.
Your self-care is compromised. Like everything gets compromised when you're in this, like, this pressure mentality. So I think that I think that stress is this really great indication of like, where are we putting too much pressure on ourselves? Where are we stressed out? Because we're doing it to ourselves, right? There's an internalized story that we should be doing more than we're doing. And wherever we have that idea, there's stress and there's pressure. So it's good to just check in, like, where's the stress?
I'm seeing this cycle of flow that's been helping me tremendously. And I know that you see this in your patterns too, but I notice that like when I do feel stressed, right? It's like seeing that as something that needs to be taken care of. Like, please do yourself a favor and release the pressure of having to put business first or work first, right? When you see that there's stress there, can we talk about mental health. If we can value the mental health, the self-love, the self-care when stress comes in, perhaps that could be a part of a healthy momentum because you're feeling good, you're creating space, you're releasing, and then knowing that you just created space and energy for you to give that energy to your business, to give that energy to the project, to the blank, whatever that project that you know that you're working on that you do want to accomplish. Please do not sacrifice or compromise your mental health.
Yeah.
Because this loop here is going to help you keep the momentum. And just like what you said, the momentum, the moment that you feel the pressure and the stress, that is the killer of momentum, because that stress is going to build up to something where you can't ignore it.
Exactly.
Let's just say now you're developing some neck issues. Let's just say now your anxiety is like so severe that you can't even show up to work. You can't even show up to your like passion project or your business. So please keep in mind, and I feel like that's just the formula right there of keeping the healthy momentum.
Because momentum is about being in flow with the universe.
Totally.
So being in flow with the universe is a really different thing. And when you're in flow with the universe and you're not in your own story of what you think needs to be happening and how hard you think you need to be working and all the things that need to be developing, then people come, people show up. You have to do so much less. It becomes so much more effortless to maintain a momentum because the universe is now bringing you the opportunities. The universe is like bringing you the resources.
Yeah, I can validate this so much because when I was kind of really taking it easy with my business or how I show up on social media because I was focused on grieving. Like that was my pain area. When things happened with my family, that was my focus. And I knew that was going to take up a lot of space. And I realized that that is more important than my business right now.
Mm-hmm.
I still attended to my clients. However, I saw myself doing the least amount of marketing, the least amount of sharing with like self-love wise, you know, like all self, like the usual content. It was all about my grieving. And yet things were opening up for me.
Yeah.
Like new clients, new faces, new connections were coming to me
Yeah.
as a result. So I just want to validate what you just said for a second there. Okay. Like energy is real.
Mhm.
Energy is so real, and you will see the universe like show you that I see you. I see that you have the space. I see the energy that you've been creating. Here you go. These all match up with your energy. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Exactly.
And
So it's
wonderful.
like it's prioritizing your vibe, your vibration over the to-do list,
Ooh.
over the tasks. Because once you're like, okay, my vibe is my top priority, because if I'm vibing, that's going to attract the things that support me, you know?
Mhm.
And that totally changes like what it is you think that you need to be doing every day.
Yeah. Imagine yourself not in the vibe. How has that panned out long term with your do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, how are you feeling into your body? How's it affecting the world around you? How's it affecting the way that you talk to people? How is it affecting you and your clients, you and your customers, you and your team, you and your family? Oh gosh, yes. Obviously, we're always going to talk about the self-love, the healing, the energy work, right? The vibe, the intention, our soul, our spirit, that health over anything. Because I mean, we've learned our lessons. We've learned our lessons, and that's what's valuable about this reflection time, the practices, and really having a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
See, having a different perspective, and you know, whatever it takes. For most of us, it might take rock bottom. For some of us, we may hear a story and it inspires us to start that journey so that we avoid the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either we learn from others or we learn from ourselves. I know most of the time we learn from ourselves. And if we can commit to a community, perhaps that can save us. That can really put us in the prevention or being proactive.
Yeah.
And feeling really proud that you did so and really benefit from that. Let yourself benefit from that. Yeah. So yeah, we have Lena here. She says, easy does it. Exercise is a whole other beast, but you have to initiate that momentum. Yes, very true. Every day is hard. Get out there and exercise every day. Grab that sock, put in that running shoe on, start the momentum, and see like there's little things that can help you in that momentum of grabbing that sock, you know, and then it leads you into the next thing. If you be consistent, let's just say you don't make it to working out, but you still put on that sock, you put on that running shoe, you know, that's just like a metaphor for life in general. You know, like, hey, look what you did that you would never do in your normal routine. Like actually having the intention, putting on the sock and the shoes on to go work out.
Well, and that's a good point about momentum. Me and my friend were talking about momentum actually just yesterday and how it's cumulative. So you start with just like the one littlest thing, and then that builds. And we were just talking about bravery and how bravery is the same way, right? You're like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm going to show up into this thing and do it. And then you're like, okay, cool. I do that now. Okay. Now I can like show up to this thing and talk. Okay, cool. I did that now. So now I'm going to do this next scary thing. So like remembering that like momentum is this like just meeting yourself where you're at and like doing one and like going one step beyond, you know, your comfort, your like little safe little comfort zone, one step beyond, and then, but not too far, because if you go too far, then you're in that pressure zone.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how people talk about what's sustainable or like what builds up longevity. It's like literally incorporating those little things into your flow, because it's a lot to just change. There's a lot to just jump straight into, like, I'm gonna use exercise again. It's a lot to going from not exercising to all of a sudden exercising. That just, I mean, in my personal story, it has taken a journey, you know?
Yeah.
And it needs to be something small so that you can have it consistently in your life and really see your life like adjusting to it.
Yeah.
Then you know that you have the space to go do more.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the biggest mistake that I see people do. And then I get worried for them. And then of course, you know, it's like, okay, you know, let's try this instead. Like I always tell my clients, like when you go and work out, it doesn't mean you have to go out there and fucking go hard. And now you're sore. Now you don't want to return back to that ever again. You're like fucking feeling hurt. You're like, what is happening to my body? Can we go gentle? Can we get some ease into that and be proud that you showed up and you moved your body and then come back and do the next thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus that creates more injuries too.
Mm-hmm.
When you just insert yourself into something hardcore, you end
Yeah.
up injuring yourself. And now you're traumatized of this world of working out. You want to work out. So that's just a metaphor for so many things. You know, let yourself ease into it.
Ease in,
Ease
nice
in.
and gentle. So slow and gentle is the theme of our workshop. That's this Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically just about like, how can we take things slow and gentle? Because that is a recipe for sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we can introduce this slow and gentle energy into our life, because we're so out of balance in our culture.
Yeah.
We're so fast and hard.
Yeah.
We're
the opposite.
so fast and hard. And so, yeah, we just have to get back into a nice balance with ourselves and remember that slow and gentle is an option.
Yes.
And what does that look like? And what does that feel like? And remembering all of that.
Yeah, we're excited. We even put like a note in our like workshop description of like have warm tea with you, a blanket, wear comfortable clothes, because we're just going to be very gentle and slow with ourselves. So let's do that, because I know we are hard and fast. It's hard and fast. So we welcome you to join us. That's this upcoming Tuesday at 6:30. And other than that, we're here every Saturday here at 11 a.m. and we have our meditation at 10 a.m. So please join us. Visit selfloveaccess.com. That's where you'll see everything. Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
We're good. Thanks for listening. Great seeing you again, Lena. We love having you here and hearing what you have to share. It just sounds like you're very much on that journey. And if there's anything more that we can support you, we're here.
Yes.
We're here. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye.